players, some players that are going to really help us in the future. And so it's, again, I don't think there's any negative whatsoever in playing the game. And I was really, I'm really excited to play the game. It challenged our football team to step up and play, and that's what we did. And so, again, as we move forward and get another opportunity to play them, we'll look forward to it.
Coach, you made a number of defensive changes last week. You got the same defense this week. Were you pleased with the improvement that you saw last week?
I think it was quite obvious that, we were much more settled in the secondary. We held a pretty good passing offense to under 200 yards throwing, and I thought Kyle Therrett was very good in the back end. He really did some nice things, particularly from a communication standpoint. James Manuel was much more settled. He played very well. I thought we did some good things there, and obviously it was a much better effort, much more improvement based on the performance we had the week before against a much better opponent.
Can you talk about Brock Vereen and his first start?
Yeah, he obviously had a couple of things come up that welcomed him to the big time shot. How about that? Your first start. He's from Valencia, California, and he's grown up watching the Trojans and being around them, and the opportunity to open your college career against those guys had to be a great thrill for him. And I thought he held up well. I thought that he did some good things. He's going to be an excellent football player. That's the thing that is so exciting in that game against USC is so many young guys out there and playing well. Kendall Gregory McGee getting a big sack. The performances, Vereen and a lot of the young linebackers, and there's a lot of guys that I could mention, but that's exciting that they played so well against such a quality opponent.
Coach, you mentioned Kyle. What does he bring to this team now that he's back? You missed those 2 games. You mentioned the communication.
The biggest thing he brings is leadership. He brings leadership, and he's a guy that our defense really respects. He's been through all the battles, all the wars through 4 years of playing Big Ten football, and again, he's a no-flinch guy. He's a tough guy. He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. His heart is as big as his body, and if everybody played with the same type of heart that he does, your football team would really be a great football team.
Another leader that's out, obviously, Kim. Every week it's a progress, trying to get him in full practice. Do you see him possibly maybe just wait until the Big Ten starts, or is he further along this week?
He's chomping at the bit, Marcus, to play, and he's going to be in full pads today, and we'll see what we get out of him today. Again, he's. I'm not a doctor. I know he's close, but I think that last step is a big step towards cutting him loose and saying he can go play. And so we just want to be sure again that last step that he takes towards getting back on the field is the prudent one.
And those guys together, Kim and Kyle together.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. They play well together, obviously. But I tell you, I can't be more pleased with the progress of James Manuel. James Manuel, I think, is going to be one of the better safeties in the Big Ten as he moves forward. He's got that kind of ability, and all he needs is experience. And to him to play in the arena he did last Saturday and do the things he did, get his first college interception, made some good tackles, lined up well. He's got a chance to be really good, and he only benefits from the fact that he's got his own personal coach in Kim. He doesn't go 2 steps, and Kim's not there talking to him and helping him and guide him, and so James is going to be a factor for us regardless of whether or not Kim comes back or
Coach Gray said after the game on Saturday he feels like he's getting more comfortable at receiver. Have you seen that out of him?
The guys, again, you guys see the game, and you can see the impact that he's making on the game. And I said this to a couple of the guys, I don't know that there was a better athlete on the field Saturday than him, on both sides of the ball, and I'm just saying that because I think it to be the truth. And I think that he's got a chance to be a very special player, and he is on a daily basis really improving as a wide receiver. He's still getting his work in at quarterback. You know, we're asking a lot out of him, but he's capable of giving a lot. He's been blessed with just tremendous talent, and he really did some nice things Saturday. You know, he did some nice things away from the ball that you don't see. I mean, he's 6'5", 230-some pounds, and he was blocking the heck out of their corners, doing a nice job. And you know, he just takes pride in being a good football player. And he doesn't rest on the fact that he's been blessed with that type of ability. He tries to push himself each and every day to improve and get better, and that's what's really exciting about him.
Is he improving as a quarterback as well? I mean, obviously you can't see it in a game situation, but
you know, I think he's much further along as a quarterback as well, just based on the fact that he's been here for a year. And to be quite honest with you, I really think that even though he's not playing quarterback, he's going to really benefit from being on the field at wide receiver. And the pace of the game, the speed of the game, if he has to, you know, to go from wide receiver to quarterback in a game, I think it's really going to help him because he's been on the field, he's in the flow of the game. He's, you know, and I think it's so much harder to come from the boundary and just line up and go play, you know, and so I think that'll help him.
Coach, passing attacks normally need to go to individuals. Is McKnight and Gray, and the confidence between Weber and those two, is that approaching that level?
You know, Ed, I think it's really building. You know, you saw a great play by Dejon McKnight on the deep ball for the touchdown. You know, Dejon is each week, he's another guy who's very basically new to the game as far as experience is concerned, and he gets better and better. He pushes each other. You know, now you love the fact that you got in Troy Stoudemire added into this mix, some guys competing to, okay, I'm going to make the next play. You got this play. I'm going to make the next one. And so I think that's, you know, that's really positive for us. And we've got some, one of the big questions I had going into the SC game was going to be how would our receivers respond? SC's defensive backs are very confident in their ability. They're going to play press man coverage. Could we get open? Could we do, you know, and I thought that we showed up really well at the receiver position against them. And I think we gave them a lot of problems with our length at receiver. We saw the matchup on Dejon McKnight with a 5'8" corner, 5'8", 5'9" corner. We went right to it and attacked it and obviously had success with it. And so I think that we have the makings there of a really good receiver group.
How did Matt Guerin do in his couple starts at defensive end? And what you're thinking in giving Jacobs a try too?
You know, Matt Guerin is a good football player. He's a very good football player, and he does some really good things. He's not the biggest guy in the world, and obviously USC, I don't know whether or not you realize that those guys are all giants. 6'6", 6'7", 300, 320, you know, he was in a position in this football game where he was playing against much bigger guys. You try to get a bigger guy on the field. Anthony Jacobs played outstanding against USC. Anthony Jacobs is 300 pounds. Matt Guerin is 250 pounds, you know, and so Matt's in a situation there where he can be at a mismatch in the running game somewhat against a bigger body. Anthony Jacobs is not at a mismatch. He handled himself extremely well and played an outstanding game. Matt did some good things as well in the game.
How did Eric react when you told him that there'd be some competition this week?
You know, again, I told you guys the story about Eric Ellistat. You know, he's been to every Gopher home game since he's been 5 years old, okay? Since he's been 5 years old, he's never missed a Gopher home game. I mean, it's amazing the love that his family has for this university. And he's, you know, carrying some weight with that, you know, and what I want to do with him is try to lighten his load a little bit and let him relax because he's a talented kicker. He's a talented kicker. He's hit last year. He hit a couple of game winners for us, and he's got a strong leg. But I got to get him to relax, and that's what we're going to try to do this week, is allow him to relax. And He wants very badly to be our kicker, and he wants to execute. You know, he wasn't pleased with the way he kicked on Saturday. And